I like the down. Yeah. Okay. Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome back to my channel. You already know your girl Tashana here, and this is my husband Dave. In today's video, you already read the title, so you already know I'm going to be doing my green card interview. So we are at the USCIS office right now, and our appointment is at 12:30. It's currently around 12. We're gonna go in at 12:15, so we have a little time to just like relax and chill for a moment. So for those of you who don't know, a green card interview is when a non-US citizen applies to adjust their status to become a permanent US resident. So pretty much that's what we're going to be doing. A little bit nervous, but it should be fine because what they're going to be testing really is if we have bona fide marriage, and we do. We are married and we live together and everything. So the question should be fairly easy, but you never know. Like they ask tricky questions sometimes, like what brand toothpaste do you guys use or stuff like that. So
we'll see how it is. We'll let you know. We'll try and remember everything they ask. Help you guys out. So
okay, so hopefully the next time I see you guys, I'm going to be telling you that we were approved and everything went well, and we'll also go over like a list of the questions that they asked and all that good stuff. So see you guys soon.
Already, you know it. Top everything, you know it. King already, you know it. My body soul got a king body. Body gon' shine, bling bling body. Calling all the shots, ring body.
Hi guys.
what
So if you watch the first part, you want to know if we're approved, and we are approved. I'm approved. I am now a lawful permanent resident of the United States. Okay, so what we're going to do now is run through every single point that happened on the interview day, because I know that when I was going to do mine, I watched YouTube videos and I wanted to know like what happened each step of the way. So I'm going to be doing that for you guys, so you understand just exactly how yours might be different obviously, but like just how every step of the way was.
Yeah, the whole day, top to bottom.
Yeah. So first thing was we got there.
Well, we left out about 2 hours early. It was about an hour away, so we gave ourselves 2 hours for travel, and we got there about 45 to an hour early. When we left out from home, we made sure to get a little bit of breakfast and some coffee, and we made sure to get some snacks and some drinks for later, because we knew we'd be sitting in the parking lot waiting for your appointment, because you can't go in early. You want to stay hydrated and be ready, because you can't bring any food or drink in. So
The most you can go in is 15 minutes before your appointment time.
Yeah, it won't even let you in the building.
Yeah. So yeah.
Can't bring any cell phones in. Well, I think you might be able to bring cell phone. I don't know what the rules.
We didn't try it.
We
didn't try it because we didn't want the extra hassle, so we just left ourselves.
Make sure maybe you bring a book or a magazine for not only in the building, but if you're gonna wait in the parking lot, because it's easier just to wait in the parking lot and you know you're there than to show up like last minute, which would be crazy. That'd be too nerve-wracking. You know?
And we did the being extra early just so we can know that we're already there, so we can relax just chill, read a book. You don't want to be practicing questions while you're there,
like 2
because
minutes before,
like then you get
for a test.
Yeah, then you get like all flustered. You forget things you even know about your marriage, and you don't want to have to go through all that.
Much brain.
Yeah, so you're just chill, you know? You're at the best state that you can be to go into a pressuring interview. Thing was, after the 15 minutes, or we went there like 20 minutes to the door, I feel like every person that was there for the 12:30 appointment literally just went to the door at the 15 minutes. Like everybody was standing there at 15 minutes before.
Well, it's probably a big group, because I think that was probably the first appointment time available after lunch. So it's probably everybody waiting.
Okay, so the next thing is you get to the door and the officer comes out. He wouldn't normally come out, but for us he came out because everybody was standing at the door. So he, instead of waiting for each individual person to come to the door to give the speech, he did like a group speech, basically asking you if you have any symptoms of COVID. What else he asked?
I told you not to bring in any food or drink, not to bring in any weapons or firearms, not to bring in any illegal narcotics.
Yeah,
stuff
so
like that.
he just literally went over a thing. You verbally confirm whether or not you have anything on you or anything like that. He asks you each of the things individually. So after that, when he's done, you give him your appointment notice. Also, remember to take your appointment notice. You need that. So for them to confirm that you are supposed to be there. And the next thing is he asks for identification. So both of our IDs and the confirmation notice that you're supposed to be there. Then after that,
yes, you to verbally confirm that you haven't been in contact with anyone with COVID, that you don't have any COVID symptoms, and that you're all good to go. And then he lets you in the door.
After he had everybody did this group speech, there's a thing that you read. You had to read it before you go in individually now. So then the next thing is there's like a metal detector, just like a TSA airport kind of situation.
Yeah, it's got the scanner where you slide all your stuff through it.
You take your shoe off, you take your belt off, you take your watch. He said I could keep my rings on.
Keys,
everything. You take all that off and then you walk through the metal detector. When you walk through the metal detector, there's someone else standing behind the metal detector that's taking your temperature to make sure, forehead checks. So to make sure that you don't have a fever. We were super cold. It was super cold. My head was cold as heck.
So she couldn't get a reading.
So she couldn't get a reading. That was like,
buzzing. I
was like, do I have COVID?
I rubbed my forehead up. I was like,
so she sent us back to the thing to put our jackets on and give us some time to just like cool, warm up a bit. So after we put our stuff back on and everything, she did the temperature check again, and then we were good. So after that point is when you go to the glass check-in desk, and she asks for both IDs and also the confirmation notice again. And then she asked me to place both my index fingers on the fingerprint scan to take my fingerprints. Only my fingerprints, not his.
The applicants, not the sponsor.
Yeah. So then after she's done with that, she sends us to...
What? She took a picture of you too.
Okay, yes. Yeah, good. So she took my picture as well. So then she sends us to sit and wait to be called by our immigration officer.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah, they got a big room, the wall in the middle and two sides. So, but they have the chairs all spaced out like 6 feet apart, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
so
the ones.
Even for us together, we're spaced out 6 feet apart. So, and we brought books, so you make sure you bring something to read maybe or something, like, because I don't know about bringing cell phones in. And probably if you're just getting there and you need to, make sure you use the bathroom before they call your meeting. You would hate to have to need to go to the bathroom in the middle or just be nervous.
Yeah, we both just went to the bathroom as we went in. If we get into my book, I think I did the first page of my book. She was already out. She called my name. She called my name and he gets up with me and we go to her office. In my head, let me just say, I thought the office was gonna be a little bit bigger. It wasn't super tiny, but let's just say it's very intimate, smaller than I would have thought in my head. And I know I wanted to have like a visual of how the setup would be. She's behind a plexiglass behind her desk, and there's two chairs right in front of her.
Office with a desk,
and then it's super close to her desk. It's very personal. But
you could reach out and touch a desk.
I literally was thinking that the thing would be farther away.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like an interview table room, like a police
and I thought it was gonna be a long desk.
Yeah, like you see in the
movies. So I'm just
or
trying
something.
to give them the visual of what it is, because I wanna give you
that's what I'm saying. I'm helping
experience through me.
I understand what you're saying. I thought the same thing too. So it's just like you in an office with the person.
And it's very personal. So it didn't make me uncomfortable. It was just like, oh, I thought it was gonna be bigger. I'm just want you guys to understand like what it is. Okay, so then what happens after?
First thing, she has us stay standing, and then you raise your hands, and she asks you to swear to tell the truth and everything.
Your right hand.
Yeah. So you do that.
Yeah, swears us in.
Then she says we could sit, and
we sit.
We sit.
Okay. So she doesn't get right to talking.
Yeah, she's like
She
looking over the
looks at
paperwork.
her paperwork. She's getting everything together. She's looking at the computer as well. And then we're just sitting there waiting for her to say something.
Very quiet.
Yes, very quiet.
Silence.
So then the other thing is, the officer that we got was African American. She was a woman. Oh, she was a little bit tense.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume most of the officers
Yeah,
are
she was
supposed to be. But
Yeah, she was a little bit tense and
not super, but just very like
yeah, she was
here
very
to do a job.
yeah, she was very tense. You could tell she was a warm person, but she was just
Holding
keeping
it
it.
back.
Yeah, she was holding it back because
yeah.
even when she wanted to like laugh about a little
Just a
certain thing, she would be like little
crook in her
chuckles.
mouth.
Yeah.
So-
The first thing she says to us is her name. She says her name and she's gonna be our immigration officer for today. She asks, I'm gonna go to the questions now that she asked. Okay, so then the first thing she says is, I'm gonna ask you some questions and I'm going to
Then I'm gonna
separate you.
I don't know if she was trying to scare us or what, but we were like, whatever.
So I was just like, okay.
Okay.
I was like, okay. I literally was just like, okay. Because there was no form of like, oh my God, you're going to separate us. I don't know if she wanted a response out of us or whatever, but that's the first thing she said. I'm going to ask you a few questions now and I'm going to separate you. And then I was like, okay.
Right.
And then she goes to, let me just give you a spoiler. She goes to asking us the questions, never ended up separating us. We
Yeah.
did the entire interview, both of us side by side. So that was good. Even if they separated us, I think we would have been fine.
Yeah.
I think we would have
No
been
big deal.
super fine. So the first thing she does is ask us information just to confirm who we were, what each of our birthdays were.
She asked for IDs again.
She asked for the IDs. She asked for my name, my full name. I think she asked you what my full name is, and then asked you also
She
what
wanted
your full
social
name.
card too, because you only had your passport, so.
Yeah. So she asked me for my social. Forgot about that. She asked me for my social, and she asked me for my identification.
She originally asked for a state ID, but you told her you didn't have one.
Yeah, I only had my passport. So then she asked for my social. That she asked how many siblings. She asked him how many siblings I had. She wasn't super. I know some videos person say like, oh, they say like, only if I'm asking you. Only if I'm asking you. She wasn't super big on that. She literally had us, she was throwing questions out some of the times, and whoever wanted to answer could answer.
Yeah, she was very relaxed about
She
that.
was
She
very-
seemed very like, oh no, this is to you or that's to you. It's like she just asked, and even some of them we kind of jointly answered. Even some
we
to,
like buzzed in on each other's questions and stuff.
Anyway.
All right, she asked him what my mother's name was. She asked him what my son's names are, and also what else after
Their
that?
ages.
Their ages. She asked about the first date. She asked what was the first date that we had. We told her. We both had the same answer. She asked what the second date was. We told her, both had the same answer. When we met, she asked what month did we meet. Both had the same
How we
answers.
met.
She asked
Where/how, basically how we started talking.
how we started talking. She asked when it first got romantic,
Yeah,
about
she was
when.
like the timeline, kind of.
Then she asked who approached who. So when we met, who approached who? She asked about the proposal. She asked who proposed to who and when it was. She asked what we did for my birthday. We told her.
Yeah.
What gifts we sent the boys for Christmas.
Oh, that reminds me, yeah, she would ask us some stuff, and then a lot of times we would say something, and then she would ask us a follow-up question, like she asked what we did for Christmas, or what was going on in a picture, and we would say, right, we were wrapping gifts for her sons, and then she would ask, what were the gifts you sent? So, you know, she just asked little follow-up questions too, so it was like a lot of what we said leading her into a question.
Yeah. What we got each other for birthdays and what we got each other for Christmas. So what I got him for his birthday, what I got him for Christmas, what he got me for my birthday, what he got me for Christmas. What was my ex-husband's name?
Yeah. She also asked me how many times she had been married.
And asked me how many times he had been married. So this is basically now all the information and on the form I-485, because all this information about like sons and siblings and all that stuff were on the form I-485, and then follow-up questions to those answers on the form I-485. Yeah. So then she asked why I got divorced, why I initiated a divorce after I came here. Like,
that was one of the ones she was a little like,
she was like, girl.
And she's like, what were you doing? Why? Like, real suspicious, like a little bit. She was like insinuating or being suspicious. You know, there were a couple of questions where she was that way.
Yeah.
Or like when things went a little mistakey, but we'll get to those.
She was like, girl, so what make you feel like say you did for initiate divorce after you come here? And I explained to her what that was about, and then she was like, okay, makes sense. For extra evidence, so she asked.
We brought a ton of stuff with us, but we only ended up giving her some of it. We gave her more pictures that we printed. We gave her pictures from our Instagrams that we printed screenshots. We meant to give her pictures of our YouTube, but we couldn't find that one. It was a screenshot of your whole YouTube that we do together.
What was I gonna say?
Bills. We gave her bills and stuff. Joint account receipts. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is, you know how if you do the form I-485 and you send them in initially, you have pictures that you already sent in. So if you did every part of the paperwork together, you sent all those in, and so at the point where you sent it in to when the interview is, you're gonna have other pictures during that time. So those are the pictures that she really wanted to see, things that she didn't already have in the folder. By the way, she had a huge folder of ours with every piece of information that we ever sent in or anything, and she had them very neatly organized in a binder thing. It was like very neatly organized, and she had like a, what's it called?
Finger guard for flipping pages, so her fingers
She
wouldn't
was
get
like
calluses.
flipping through papers. Like,
You know, it's like instead of licking your fingers, she had it was like a little grippy thing, so she could.
Yeah, she had a lot of paper. It was like intense.
I mean, that's like
it
her
was
whole job. It's a lot of papers. So.
Then she asked what each of the pictures was. So if she saw something that intrigued her, she was like, what is this? When did you do it? Or where was it? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
She asked what days did each of us work.
She asked me what days Tashana worked, and she asked Tashana what days I worked.
And this question tripped us up.
Yeah.
For other persons, this would be an easy question, but during the slower periods for us, for me, I set my own schedule, so it could vary.
Similarly, yeah.
And he sets his own schedule as well, so it could vary throughout the weeks.
Week to week. Could be
Yeah,
totally
week
different.
to week. Sometimes he's just like, oh, the weather is gonna be better that day, I'm gonna go in on that day. Or for me, it's the same thing. Okay, it's gonna be a nicer day this day, I'm gonna go in on this day. Or if it all depends on how much stuff I have to do at my job. So if I have a lot of stuff to do, I'll go in that day, get it done, and then I'll choose another day or two to finish everything up. So for us, it was a little bit of a tricky situation.
Because she seemed very perplexed by the idea that we don't work the same days every week, and we were like explaining that to her, and she was like, so what days?
Yeah.
And she was like,
She
so
was
what
like-
days? I think she was trying to get us to trip up and mess up and say, and I was like, it's gonna be different every week.
We were like,
Different.
Yeah, different. She was like not getting it. She was like, but anyways, like tripped us up was the fact that he drives me to work in the mornings, and he forgot what days I went in this week. So she asked very specifically what days did I work this week.
Yeah.
So he told her I only went in one day, because during this week we were trying to get everything together, so I went in less days than I would normally, because I wanted time to get everything together and make sure everything was good, just like chill for this week. So he forgot that I went in 2 days instead of one, because I was gonna change my mind, and I ended up going in
I couldn't
another
even really
day.
remember when I went in. She was
And the
like,
other thing is COVID's happening, and all the days are like blurred in our minds, so we're just like we forgot.
Yeah. And we were so focused on this and getting the paperwork and stressed and running around for this week. So that's a tip, something to try to remember what you did the week of it, because they'll probably ask you what you did, you know, the weekend before, or what you did that week, something with just whatever scheduled thing you did that week. So just try and remember that, because you'll be focused on getting everything together for the meeting and practicing all those questions that are off and away, but you don't think to remember like
what happened,
just your everyday basic boring stuff that you don't, you know, focus on.
So she was like, he said, I probably shouldn't have said anything, but I didn't want it to come back up that I went.
That you just
yeah,
said,
as I said, can I say I did go to work an extra day, because I didn't want her to be like, what did you do on Wednesday? And then I said, well, I went to work. I didn't want to be caught up in a lie, so I was just like, you forgot, babe.
Yeah,
I went to work. I was like, I went to work on Wednesday as well. And then I said, remember, I texted you that I'm gonna leave, okay? Not to come for me, I'm gonna end up leaving. And then he was like, yeah. And then he was like, yeah, I kind of remember. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I went to work 2 days. And I tried to remind him in the interview so she could see that I'm trying to really be honest. And then she kind of got it at the end.
And she kind of just relented, accepted. Yeah. Like I said, she let us both kind of answer together. There was no like, oh, don't you talk, or this or that, or don't talk to each other.
Don't tell him what to say.
It was fine.
Now.
It was like, yeah, we were just.
She asked if each of us was ever married before.
She asked me if Shauna was married before, and she asked Shauna if I was married before.
Okay. And then she asked, when was, I said the birthday one. Yeah. She asked, when was the birthday? She said, she asked if we had any trips, if we had any major trips, and what the honeymoon was. We told her the major trips that we had, and we told her about our honeymoon. She okay. Yep. She asked what when the day of the wedding was, who was all there,
all about the wedding, just
all about the wedding, little details. Then if we met each other's parents. His answer was no, and my answer was yes. We been together since we lived here, and my parents live back in Jamaica, so he has never met my parents. So he told her that. Yeah, the pictures. The other thing that tripped us up was our lease.
Yeah.
And I think she tried to like get us
paperwork
to
on the eye, whatever you said like before. She basically went over that, right?
Then she asked us about our lease.
The date, the specific. She wanted the exact day. Like we just knew like the kind of month that she was like trying to trick us.
The first thing that happened with that was one of the lease wasn't signed.
Yeah, because it was just a copy.
Because our copy, when we were renewing our lease for 2020, we mailed a copy back to our landlord. That's the signature one. And then we kept a copy, our copy. We didn't sign it. We didn't think to sign it. We're just like, this is our copy. We know it's our copy. We need to sign the landlord's one, but we didn't sign ours. We just had it there and we printed it out and sent it in. So she was like, why isn't the lease signed? This is your lease, right? But our names are on there. Our names are literally in the brackets to Shauna and David, whatever, just at the very bottom where you need to confirm what's on there. We didn't sign it. It's not necessary. We didn't sign it. And she was just trying to get us to be like, oh, this is not my lease or something. So she was like, if this is your lease, why didn't you sign it? So I was like, I didn't think it necessary. She was like, okay, so when is your lease up? I was like, our lease is up May 2nd.
That's when we moved in, based on, she was going on, Shauna was basing on when we moved in, basically.
When our lease started.
Yeah.
Our lease started May 2nd.
Our original from 2 years ago.
Right. So, in my mind, the lease is up May 2nd when we moved in. But on there, because it's a year's lease, so I'm thinking exactly back to May 2nd is when our lease is going to be up. I didn't read in depth fine print. It's actually April 31st, which is what, a day or two?
Yeah, a couple of days before. It's just
before May 2nd. So she was like, but that's not what is on the lease.
And she tried to make it sound like it was months apart. It was like literally, I don't know, like, she don't know the months of the year.
No. She was just, I feel like she was literally just trying to, she was doing it on purpose. She was like, but this is your lease. She kept putting it in our face like, this is your lease, right? At one point. And I was like, yes, it is. But it's, in my mind, it was May 2nd. So, I didn't look to see that it was April 1st. I know it's a year's lease, and I tried to explain to her our first lease started 20 whatever to 2019, 2020, May 2nd, 2020 to May 2nd, 2021. So I was thinking May 2021 is when our lease is up, but it was actually April 31st, 2021. So she was kind of like, oh, you don't know your lease and whatever. But I didn't really care about it too much. I was just like, it's not serious. All right, she asked where he lived before, where he lived. So that information is on Form I. Yeah, she asked me specifically, where did he live before we moved in together? Okay, so that information is on Form I-485. So the information that I gave her, when this is a question that we tripped up again on, we didn't trip up, the lawyer did not put it on there. So we, I told her an address that he lived for 5 months before we moved in together. So I'm not sure what happened. I'm not gonna say the lawyer didn't put it on there, but I'm pretty sure some mix-up happened. I'm not gonna put that all on the lawyer. We might have, I'm pretty sure we said it to her. I'm not sure what happened there, but she was like, but that's not what's on there. Another address is on there that he lived till May of that year before we moved in together. And then I was taken aback. I was like, how is that on there? Because he lived at this address for 5 months before we moved in together. And then she asked me the address of the house. I told her.
She asked me about it too.
Yeah, I told her I did not know the exact address. He literally used to just take me there. But I know whatever. And then she was like, okay, you tell me the address. I told her I wasn't gonna say a number address. I could tell her where the place was, but I wasn't gonna tell her like it was 615 blah blah blah. I wasn't gonna say a number. And I said to her, I'm not gonna say a number because I don't want to say the wrong number. And then that's another tip, like if you do not remember something, you can simply say, I'm not gonna say, or I would choose not to say because I don't want to tell you the wrong information. Because once you say something, you've said it, and then that becomes like you've said it, you know? So I told her I did not remember. So that's when she asked him, tell me about this address that you lived at. And then
at the address, and I told her when I lived there, for how long, you know, what the situation was.
and
all the
then
info.
Yeah, and then
she just like confirmed it twice, and she's like, yeah, but it's not on the paper. I was like, I don't know. And she's like, why didn't you put that? I'm like, I don't know. We had a lawyer prepare the paperwork. We were pretty sure we told her about that. Must have been some miscommunication. The lawyer's all right. I don't know if it was us or the lawyer, but there was a mistake made. Somebody
we don't
milk.
wanna say anything about the lawyer.
Something happened.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem like it ruined the whole thing. It was a little.
It was fine.
Yeah, a little tense there for a moment. But
it was a little tense because it was the only question, the 3 questions about like little things that you know, it would be fine. And the other thing is, guys, the paperwork part. Once you put whatever on the I-485, you want to remember what you put. But it also is not set in stone. Whatever you put on there, I don't think so. I feel like if there's a correction that needs to be made, even on your name, say you put the wrong name, like you made a mistake with a letter in your name or something like that, I feel like at that point you can go ahead and make the adjustment. You can say to her like, this is supposed to be an E instead of an I, or something like that. So when we said that to her, the address that he lived at right before we moved in together, she literally just wrote it down on the side of her thing to, I guess, make adjustment on her end that information is now the information that should be on there. Yeah. Okay, so she asked for additional evidence. She asked about our rings. She asked when we bought the rings, where we bought the rings, and just about our rings. So you want to know that information. She asked us if we had health insurance. She asked about separate accounts. She asked if I had any separate account or if he had any separate account apart from our joint account. I told her.
You go ahead, and then I'm gonna mention.
I told her that I had a separate account. Literally, I didn't put any money in there. We transferred to my bank, so I ended up starting an account at my bank together. He closed his bank account because it was just like, I'm not going to be using that bank anymore. Closed it. And then we end up having 3 accounts. So we have our savings, our checking, and my separate account that I barely even put any money in. And I made sure to explain that to her, because it's like, if you're truly married, why do you need a separate account.
She asked about our paychecks, if they were direct deposited in the
Yes,
account.
that's a good one. I forgot about
Yeah.
that. She asked about that. She asked about, wait, even when she was asking that, she asked, so does your paychecks get direct deposit into the account? We said no. Said we get paper checks and I put them in.
Yeah.
I put the
She kept asking.
she kept asking
about the
again.
direct
She was
deposit,
like, oh, so you get direct deposit. She asked again because
Like,
she
no, we
wants
don't.
us to trip up and
Yeah.
say like the wrong thing.
Something.
I don't know, cause we said no. I said no. I handled the money.
She also asked about the electric bill, what the electric bill was.
Yeah, she asked about the
Like,
Comcast.
that's the same every.
Yeah, she
electric-
asked what the price is, what the cost is. I guess if you don't really live there, you wouldn't know anything about the bill.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
guess that's why she asked that.
And then she did ask about the credit cards as well, if you remember.
Yeah, she
We
asked
gave her
us.
the bills and the photocopies of our credit cards.
Yeah, she asked us why we had like three
just
credit
three.
cards. It's 3 credit cards, but I guess I don't know. She asked us why we had so many credit cards.
Credit cards.
We had 3 credit cards. I told her the reason why we had 3 credit cards, and pretty much that was it. She was, you could tell she was a good, nice person, but she was just trying to get her job done. So I've heard stories where persons say that the officers like super chill and they were laughing the whole time. That wasn't necessarily our experience. It was a little bit more tense. If I could see where someone else would say, if they weren't like somebody who understood where she was, how she was, I could see where somebody would have said like, oh, she was super tense and it was super intimidating. But I was fine because I'm used to that. I'm from Jamaica. Like, I know how to deal with like super stern people. So I wasn't like intimidated.
Yeah, she definitely kept it very serious, but you could see when she was looking at the pictures and then the pictures of the YouTube, she was like smiling a little bit, but she was holding her breath.
She
was like,
she was very pleased.
You know, she was like, what is this? But she was like, what's going on here, you know?
Yeah.
And she was like, ah, ha, ha, but like real.
We had a very nice picture. One of the pictures for very specifically, we had a very nice picture, and she was like, when was this? And she was kind of smiling. She was like, oh, this is nice. She did say this is nice. She said this is nice. The equipment that we used.
how we
She
did
asked
it,
us if we bought it on Amazon, and she asked us that. So that was nice and very warm right there. So
then she kind of wrapped it up. Went to the end part.
yes, then she went to all the 80 or whatever 40 security questions on the form I-485. For me only, just to confirm yes or no. Have you ever worked illegally here? Have you ever did prostitution? All that stuff. Are you gonna bomb the US?
Do you smuggle drugs?
All that stuff.
Are you gonna join the cult?
Yeah, she was kind of rushing through it too because she kind of had.
She was like,
no.
It was like 20 or 30 questions. No.
Yeah.
And then she asked you to confirm and sign, and confirm and sign as well.
Yeah. She asked us if this was our signature. She showed us the signature and she was like, this is your signature, right? And we said yes. And she told me specifically we had a pen of our own. That's something I was noticing as well. She asked me to
because they tell you to bring a pen on the paper too. So.
She said, come and use this pen right here and sign right here. She asked me specifically to use the pen on her desk. I don't know
And
why.
I remember one thing that we forgot to mention happened at the very beginning of the meeting. After we swore in, she also asked us to sign an affidavit that we were not going to have
wavering the rights to have a lawyer.
with us.
Yes, because she asked us in the beginning if our lawyer was going to be. Yes, that's the first thing she asked us. Do you have a lawyer? Are you waiting on your lawyer? And we said our lawyer wasn't going to be there with us. We didn't think it was necessary. So we said, no, we don't have a lawyer. We're not waiting for her. We have a lawyer, but we're not waiting for her. And so we went in, and then as we went in, she said, this is a paper just to waiver the rights that you're using an attorney, that you're not going to use your attorney. And we signed it, and then she went on. Yeah, good job for remembering that.
Yeah.
All right, so just some tips. Practice questions. Initially, when we were doing oars, Dave was like, we're married for real. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Dave was like, we're married for real. It doesn't really matter. We don't have to even practice so much. He wanted to practice, but not as much. I was just like, let's every once in a while. I didn't do anything crazy
was very
either.
tense.
Yeah, I was like, let's ask. Yes, because I've heard stories. What color toothpaste? What color curtains? What color this? I was like, get it right. First of all, he's bad with dates. So I'm just like, get it together now. What color curtain? It's beige. It's not brown, okay? It's beige. I'm trying to let him know like what the color curtain is. and all that stuff. So I was pretty much wanting to make sure we went over everything, and he was pretty much like, "We're married for real, how hard could it be?" And then he was kind of flustered in there a little bit when he was like, "Yeah, but I live there for real." So yeah, so I would say, guys, practice questions, watch videos. Make sure when you're doing your practice, remember what you put on the form I-485 go over it. Your addresses, your work, because they could ask you, what was your second job when you came here, or something like that. So make sure you do all that. Any kind of thing that you know is specific to your circumstance, make sure that you have your answers and you don't get flustered, because some people would be like, "Oh, you know, like I told her the honest answer and everything was good."
This is the best thing to do.
Yeah, just be honest. Yeah, just be honest.
Be honest about whether you forget something. You know, don't try and fake it or give her something like Shauna said.
So yeah, that's it for our experience, guys.
Whoa. And then at the end, what did she?
So how we know we got it was she didn't specifically say, "You are approved.
Congratulations.
Since you are approved." She said to us, what she basically said was, she said, "I'm gonna look over some security stuff." Because I guess for the biometric stuff, I guess I don't know what it was, but she said
basically like finish processing
this, and then she said, when you get your green card, you are gonna be able to work, and she told us all the things that the green card benefits you. You're gonna be able to travel to whatever, and it's gonna be up in whatever. She said that, but she didn't say I was approved, so I still was a little bit perplexed about that.
She didn't specifically say approved. She said when you get it though, so that made us think she was very like, you know, there was no congrats. And she did also say, if you don't see it by this date, to reach back out to them or whatever.
She said it was a 60-day wait period for it.
So then the next day, when you went home.
So the next day is when I checked my USCIS app that I have on my phone, and it said, "You are approved and your card is processed."
So we were like 90% sure, but now we're 100.
Yeah, now we're 100% sure. I was kind of like, "Oh, we did get it." So we even did celebrate, like right after we went out, celebrated. But it was still like, did I get it or did I not get it? Because I wanted to hear you were approved and this is what it was. So yeah, that's another thing, guys. You can download the USCIS app on your phone and track all the steps of your application. It tells you when each of the things, even before you get anything in the mail, it does tell you when each of the things are, or they produced your this or they produced your that, and it helps you along the way.
I think another thing we didn't mention is you should definitely dress appropriately, you know. Respect the officer and the station, you know, dress nice. And just be proper.
I pretty much did semi-formal. Another thing is the time frame. So we went in there 12:30, and when we came 12:15, right? Interview started around 12:30.
Almost right on the dot.
Yeah.
But we were one of the first ones in, so it probably goes in order of when you got in there, really.
And we came back out at around 2. So we did like an hour and a half in there.
Doesn't have to be crazy.
No flip-flops.
Yeah, just wear nice shoes, wear nice things, you know.
Yeah.
Be professional, semi-professional.
I didn't try to do crazy makeup. You don't want to do crazy makeup or anything like that. Didn't try to do like any eyelashes. Just try to keep it as simple, natural as possible.
So that's our experience. 2021 marriage-based green card. You know, a little bit stressful, but you know, overall, don't overthink it too much. Practice. Be prepared. Be ready. And good luck, guys.
Yeah. Alright, so that's it for the video, guys. If you like the information, I'm also going to give a follow-up on the exact what each of the parts to the application was. I'm going to do that in a separate video, but if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.
Peace.